What's up, Rugrat Wild adventurers? We ain't really got a good video for y'all today. So, well, I'm not gonna say we don't have a good video. We have a different style of video. We're gonna talk to you guys a little bit, let y'all get to kind of know us, where we're at, what we're doing. I guess kind of introduce ourselves. Let me slide this over a little bit. Oh, there we go. Introduce ourselves a little bit, let you kind of know who we are, you know, where we're from, what got us into this RV life, what kind of crazy things we've learned.
And then we're going to talk to you about homeschooling, or in our case, road schooling.
Alright guys, so check it out. We got into this whole lifestyle because, well, let's face it, when COVID hit, things went wild. And when things went wild, we kind of dealt with it the best we could, and that forced us to, you know, reconsider a lot of different things, and in the process of which everything started going up in price. I guess that's maybe when all this inflation really kicked in, and you know, some people out there, it didn't really affect much, but a lot of people out there lost businesses, they lost jobs, you know, they lost everything. We fortunately did not lose everything. We did kind of lose one little bit of thing, which was kind of our peace of mind. Once we noticed everything was kind of going to kaput, we started kind of looking around like, you know, maybe the way of life we're living really isn't feasible anymore, and maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe we're supposed to look at things a different way. Go ahead on.
No, I was just going to say that there's been many times that we go to Florida quite a bit. We love traveling to Florida and Gatlinburg and stuff like that. So there'd been a lot of times that we had been coming back from Florida, and we had talked about what it would be like to buy a piece of land and get an RV and live in it. And we always assumed that because we had 4 kids, that
it was
not
impossible.
Right, exactly, impossible. And it wasn't until we really started thinking about it, when COVID hit and stuff like that, that we started thinking, is it possible? And of course we went to YouTube and we started following some of these families that, and some of them were huge families, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. I think there was one that was like 8 or 9 kids or something like that. It was like a family of 11, and they weren't even in like a fifth wheel. They were just in what? It was like it was a bumper pull of some kind, wasn't it?
I think so. And we were like, are we crazy for really wanting to take this step and do that type of of thing with our kids? Granted, now our oldest two, you got to keep in mind that we have one that is 17, she'll be 18 in a few months, so she will not be full-time with us. She will be with us occasionally. And we also have a 15-year-old son that will only be with us occasionally, too. He won't be full-time, unlike our 9 and 7-year-old that will be with us.
Keep in mind, both of them are in high school.
We are homeschooling them too, so. And,
you know, Sierra, her big thing is she wants to walk with her classmates, which we understand. You put this much time in, by all means, baby girl, go for it. Kenneth, he's kind of in that finding himself zone, and we're right there to support him, help him figure it out. You know, he wanted to take the year to do the homeschool and try the homeschool, so you know, we're letting him try it out. But he's still got a bunch of friends here that he's made, you know, that he's had connections with for years and years and years, and he's not quite ready to give all that up just yet. Again, it's understandable. You know, by the time I was in high school, I had a circle of friends that I ran with all the time, and you know, at that point in our lives, you couldn't separate us, and so I understand it. But of course, Kat and Will, much younger, and they are all about doing some traveling.
Especially Kat. Her goal is that she wants to get all the Junior Ranger badges from all the national parks. That is what her goal is,
yes.
I think.
Yes, I think it is. I don't even know. So that, if you get all the badges, does that make you a Junior Ranger? Like, are you a true Junior Ranger at that point? Like, Because if so, that's really cool. Yeah, so, we, after looking at kind of all the different options we had out there as far as, working and looking into the work camping, I'm an electrician. I've been an electrician for the last, 10, 11 years now? Long time now. Been licensed for at least the last 10 years. How about that? I've got a skill I can kind of take anywhere and work really anywhere.
I'm in the process of, I'm actually going to school myself. I attend Nashville State, and I'm a VisCom major with a minor in photography. Photography's always kind of been a passion of mine, and this guy right here bought me my first camera when our youngest daughter was born, and it's been a roller coaster with that, of me wanting to learn more and stuff like that, to the point that I finally decided to take the step and go to school for it. I think this is my 4th semester now. I took last semester off because
like
we were in the process of selling the house and doing all that stuff, so I didn't go.
Back us up a bit. So after looking at our options, as everyone knows, the housing market went absolutely insane during COVID, and it really went insane after COVID. And we kind of looked at the numbers game and took a chance. I mean, we didn't really know where it would lead. Don't get me wrong, that chance looked really, really great when we brought in the first realtor and the first realtor company, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna list your house for $500,000." Yeah, buddy, let's do it. So we took a chance and never got no hits on it. We ended up dropping the price down just a little bit, and eventually, I mean, when we sold our house, we made almost $100,000 in profit.
Yeah.
That we put in our pockets. And while, like I said, we've been following these different YouTube families and researching the RV life for about the last, I guess we started the research in like April or May of last year, 2021 or 2022, and we knew we needed something big enough to accommodate at least 4 of us full time, plus our dog, plus maybe a couple of cats.
And we really wanted to have plenty enough room for our oldest two to come with us, when they were with us.
Yeah, that way, if they wanted to go on vacation or something, we could just be like, "Hey, hop in, let's roll," and away we go. So we looked at several different models. I bet we walked through, I don't even know how many anymore. I remember going to an RV show and just like, we hit each different trailer we hit. It was just like, okay, I think I've seen this before, but this is a little different. That's a little different. And eventually we decided one ultimate thing.
We need to be RV designers.
Yeah, there is no ultimate awesome RV layout design for a family. I don't think anyone's really thought about that. Which I understand these are made to be recreational vehicles. They're not meant to be really lived in full time, and they're not meant to be, homes on wheels. But, for those of us that have travel bugs, and for those of us that want to get out and go, this is the answer. It really is. And like I said, after we crunched the numbers and we got the profits and proceeds from the sale of our house, we found a few, we liked them. Things didn't work out on a couple of them, so we didn't make a deal. And eventually, we found one, just north or south of Macon, Georgia.
I'm not sure if they were north or south or not, to be honest.
Somewhere around Macon, Georgia, in a little town called Bonaire. And, the RV was a little bit dated. But in being dated, we found, that it had definitely a much better build quality about it. It's a lot more sturdier, a lot more solid. We've got, solid steel frame from head to toe. And for what we needed it for, it fits most of all our needs.
And don't get us wrong, we ran into some issues remodeling it that if you've looked at some of our previous videos, you can see him and a hole in the floor and the slide and stuff like that. Like, we don't know if the people that sold it to us didn't know that there was the issues. They probably didn't, to be honest.
It's possible. It's very possible they didn't. And it's possible that they did, but they just don't want to disclose it.
Yeah. And it's okay because we've learned a lot.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, and we knew too, getting an older model, we were going to find some issues. We also knew we were going to find a model that had a lot of kinks worked out that previous owners had taken care of, which we got quite a bit. I mean, we got a 2013 Primetime Crusader. I believe it's by Forest River. We got the 360 BHS bunkhouse model. So we actually have 4 slide outs. We've got 3 on the driver's side for the master bedroom, the living room, and the bunkhouse actually has 2, one on each side, and one of those contains the outdoor kitchen, which we knew we kind of wanted an outdoor kitchen going into it.
Now we're not so sold on it. After we had to rip the entire thing out because we had to replace the entire floor in that slide. And after taking the entire thing out, we're not 100% sold on having an outdoor kitchen out there. We've actually talked about putting our washer and dryer in, and a lot of different ideas that we've had, because the way the RV sets, it sets a little high, and it's almost like it's here and I'm trying to look over into
Yeah,
it.
and I'm not a big fan of having to stand like this and cook, and no, I mean, I'd much rather just figure out a way to attach my smoker to the back of the camper, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, we found basically once we ripped it all out and put it back together, we found we had this very large chunk of space
yeah,
that really we could use for anything we wanted. I mean, it's cool it came with a mini fridge, but I mean, we've got a which we'll get to that in a minute, we've got another refrigerator inside the main camper anyways, so but we went the older camper. We like the older camper. You know, we fixed the main structural problems we found with it, I guess, and we were pretty deep in the process of remodeling it. You know, new flooring, paint job, this, that, and the other, which at this point I think we've got everything just about painted that we need to paint. But of course, like with any project, even if you own a home or mobile home or whatever, especially in those of you out there who own an RV, you know how it goes. You'll be knee deep going, you know, pardon my language, but assholes and elbows digging for the project you're working on. And as you get halfway through it or almost the way through it, all of a sudden you've come across a bigger issue that has to be solved immediately. Like, there's no postponing it, you got to fix that problem right now. And we've hit a couple of those. So it's kind of made our renovation phase kind of stagnate for a little bit.
And on top of that, not just having the issues with the whole renovation type of it, we have officially hit ball season with our kids.
Woo, y'all don't even know. You don't even know. Don't even know.
We have 3 nights a week cheer practice, 2 nights a week baseball practice, and then we have games. We have at least a football game on Saturday. We have not gotten our schedule for baseball.
Yeah, that should be coming, what, this week? Maybe next week, something like that.
And then I have 2 nights a week that I'm in class all day in Nashville. So between that and trying to homeschool kids and trying to get them to practices and games, and I'm working and he's working, which
I never know where I'm working. I could be literally clear on the other side of the next county over one day, and I'll be the same way the opposite direction the next day. So I never know what I'm doing.
And I'm only working part-time, but still, if you add in all the other stuff, I feel like I'm working 8 jobs at this point. But but it is what it is, and we're surviving. But we've pretty much put all renovations on hold because there's no time.
No time at all.
We're trying to clean out our storage units at least in amongst all this, which has been a major disaster too, because when they're at the last minute moving, we were just cramming stuff in any place we've got. So we've got
wherever it would fit.
Yeah.
Well, now keep in mind, guys, when we first started, we had a great organizational system. And we had these things were going to a climate controlled storage, and these things were going to a non-climate controlled storage.
They were labeled all nice and neat.
Labeled nice and pretty. And we had, at one point in time, I think we were paying like $310 a month for storage units. So we were like, all right, there's got to be a cheaper solution. We worked something out, got with a different storage company, and we actually got, changed to a bigger non-climate controlled unit for, I think it was like a third of the price we were paying for the other one. So it was like, yeah, let's do it. That being said, I'm going to say this: cheaper isn't always better. We a lot of the stuff we had in our non-climate controlled storage, which, don't get me wrong, a lot of it was like seasonal decorational stuff, Christmas stuff, Halloween stuff, stuff that we knew just wasn't going to get damaged, just basically stuff you could like sit in a garage. What we didn't actually intend on or plan for was
mice.
Yes, the attack of the mice. And we have learned a lot about mice in this situation. Mice will chew through anything. I believe we have been packing stuff in there, and we filled it up pretty good. Now, in the mouse defense, I will say we had a box of candy from Halloween that we should have not stuck in there.
I don't even know how it wound up in there.
It was one of those things, we just had to get it out, so it got stuck in there. So I will give the mice, credit where credit is due. They went after that candy. They got it. We chucked it all out. But we figured in getting rid of that and putting in some mouse traps and some pest controllant. We're not going to get too deep into that. Don't want to offend nobody. But
they were still eating all
I went Rambo on these mouse, and we come back about 2 or 3 months later, and they had just chewed through everything. I'm talking about, there were boxes with holes in it that big, guys. There was one box that I could literally stick my entire arm all the way through because there was a hole all the way through everything that was in the box. Like, you could look through the hole and see out the other side. So we've been trying to get that all dealt with, and it's crazy when you start going through a bunch of old crap that you didn't really need in the first place.
So, a note: if you're thinking about going into the RV lifestyle, I suggest thoroughly going through your stuff to begin with and just getting rid of the stuff, because once you get in the RV, especially if you're planning on full-time in the RV, it's not going to fit. It's not.
No.
If you think it's going to, it's not.
Nope. Not going to do it.
We've had to really, really think about what we want in here, what we need to live with, and what we can do without.
Yeah.
It's really been a struggle, too, because...
It is, because, when you live... we had 3,000 square foot house. Downside, and I guess a little insight for anyone who doesn't have a larger house or whatever. If you live in a small home and you upgrade to a larger home, because that's kind of the process, everybody goes through the starter, you get your first apartment, then you get your first starter home, and then you get the second home where you're gonna have kids and raise family, then you get your third home, which is where you're going to graduate your kids, and then you're going to downsize from that to a smaller home as you get older. Here's the thing: we did the starter home, and got married, had a couple kids, raised Kenneth. Obviously I'm not Kenneth and Sierra's biological father. I am their stepfather, but you ask them and you ask me, all three will all tell you that they're my kids, 100%. And they got bigger, as kids do. As they got bigger, we added to the family with Cat and Will, and then Cat and Will started getting bigger, and it was time for a bigger home. So we upgraded from 1,600 square foot to 3,000, and in the process of doing so, seemed to accumulate a lot more crap. I'm going to call it crap because it's really what it is. We got rid of a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong. We got rid of a ton of stuff, going through clothes and going through furniture and kids' toys and kids' clothes and God, what all else did we have to go through? All kinds of crap.
We went through all kinds, and it amazes me how much we actually have still in storage units, knowing what we threw away and gave away. I mean, we were constantly posting stuff to Facebook, going, "Hey, this is free. Come get it. Just come get it out of our house, please." And we took stuff to Goodwill and Helping Hands, and had people come porch pick up stuff off of our porch.
Any way we could get rid of it.
Took stuff to the dump, and still wound up with 2 storage units cram-packed full, and my grandmother's garage.
Well, we haven't filled up the garage.
Oh.
We just had to last minute throw some things in there. Unfortunately, the week before we closed on the sale, everybody started getting sick. It was right before Christmas time. It was early December, and we all got sick. Closing date was coming up. I had been sick for 3 or 4 days, running fever, and we get a phone call from the realtor saying, "Hey, if you guys can't finish getting everything out of there, they could possibly not close on the house," which at that point in time, we were just ready to get it over with. So we literally lined up a dump trailer that had a line on it. Like, if this is the full size of the trailer, there was a line like right in here that said, "Do not fill past this line." And I'm pretty sure I stacked it as high as was physically possible. And I called a buddy of mine that I used to work with, and he came over that morning about 9 o'clock, and we just humped at it for what, 6-7 hours.
And while he's doing all the work, of course, I'm on a field trip with our youngest daughter.
Yeah. Tell me that ain't something, right?
But I mean, we've been working on it for a long time. But it'll never be as bad as when we were moving into the house to begin with.
Oh, that was an entire another different. Oh, that was an ordeal in itself, dear Lord. But anyways, we had a 35 by 75 foot garage, and we had to get it cleared out. And that was about the majority of everything we had left was in the garage. So we just started tossing, and we got a U-Haul truck to save what we needed to save from the garage, and everything else got tossed out. And yeah, that was how we closed on the house, was with a U-Haul truck full of stuff, F-150 pickup truck full of stuff, and a Dodge Caravan full of stuff.
And
just
my
completely
husband
full.
grabbing a stray cat off the porch because he couldn't bear to leave him.
Now look, that cat was a good cat. He had been born on that porch. He had lived his entire life on that porch. And when we left, he was just laying there on the porch, just looking at me all sad like. So I had to grab him. Couldn't not grab him. And now he's living his best life out here in the country at my parents' house, and still being just a lazy old cat. But he's not getting into as many fights anymore, so that's good. But anyways, so yeah, going through our stuff has been difficult, especially because you don't really realize that. Well, first, you don't realize you accumulate that much stuff, and then you don't realize that you put different attachments to different things for different reasons. One of my big things is books. I'm a huge bibliophile. I collect books. I collect series of books. Ask Amber, she'll tell you I've got books out the yin yang. Matter of fact, I've got one series of books that I'm pretty sure is somewhere around the 40th entry mark at this point in the game.
Like our first date, when we first started dating, we went to McKay's in Nashville. I don't know if any of y'all have been to a McKay's. I know there's several of them. And I didn't think we were ever going to leave the place. I
like books.
And it's still that way to this day. When we go to McKay's, I'll be ready to go, and he'll still be walking around.
Yeah, I'll still be perusing. I like books. You can't beat a good story. I don't care what you say.